Hi, Mrs. B here. Let's review for the Chapter 6 test. Remember to pause your video, try the problems, and then check your answers with mine as we go along. Be sure to look in the video for a clue as to what the bonus is. Here we go. Let's write percents as fractions and as decimals. To write a percent as a decimal, we have to divide by 100. So that means move the decimal place over 2 places to the left. And when we're writing our percent as a fraction, we write the decimal to the correct place, and then we have to simplify it. So 55 over 100 could be simplified to 11/20. Okay, for number 15, our decimal would be 0.3125. This goes out to the 10,000ths place. We can simplify. This could be done in many steps. You can actually divide by 625 if you knew that. I didn't know that either. And we end up with 5/16. Those are our two answers. Okay, when we order numbers from least to greatest, we want to put them all in the same form. I'm choosing decimals, but you could use percents as well. So we have 2.1, 2.2, 2.2 repeating, and then 43 over 22 is equal to 2.15. So if we're going to put them in order, first would be our 2.1. So we'd write 200% first, 210%. Second would be 2.15, so that's 43/20. Next would be 2.2. And last would be 2.2 repeating. How'd you do? Okay, let's solve some simple percent problems. You can use a proportion or an equation to solve them. I'm just going to show you the equation way. You can also use the proportion. So for the first one, we have 0.2 times 60 to get our answer of 12. For the next one, we have to put our part
Good morning, everyone.
over our whole.
Part testing is now concluded for 8th grade. So at 9:50, everyone can move on to their regularly scheduled period 2 classrooms. Thank you.
Okay, so I think we could do this one in our head and get our answer of 50%. For our third problem, we are going to find the whole. I am going to use a proportion. We have 102 over 100, and that's equal to 51 over what number? So that's an easy one to just divide by 2 and get our answer of 50. And our last one is similar to number 1. We can multiply 0.8 times 130 to get 80% of that number, and that's 104. Okay, let's do some word problems with percents. Okay, if we're trying to find the purchase price, and we know that 6% is equal to 27, that is our part. So 6 is to 100 as 27 is to the purchase price of the bicycle. Solve the equation and you should be getting $450. Okay, for the next one, if we've completed 75%, that means we have 25% more to go. Oops. Sorry about that. So let's find out what 25% of 28 is, or 1/4 of 28. Sometimes when the percents are easy, I turn them into a fraction. 1/4 of 28 would be 7. So we have to do 7 more badges. Okay. And the last problem we know the part that our friend is 140%. So 140% or 1.4 of what number is going to give us that score? Let's divide by 1.4 to get our answer. That would be a score of 62. How you doing? Okay, let's go on to percent change. So 15 inches is increased by 20%. We can do the one-step way of taking 15 and multiplying by 1.2. Or we could also do it in 2 steps, where we multiply by 0.2 and then add it on to 15. Either way, we get our answer of 18 inches. Okay, and for number 2, remember that it's being decreased. So we are actually only getting 40% of the amount. So in one step, we could say 145 times 0.4. And that would end up being, let's see, where am I? 58 gallons. We could have also found 60% of that number and then subtracted it. For number 12, we're finding the change from one day to the next, so we have to find the difference, 270 minus 216, and divide by the original number. This gives us 0.2, and we write that as a percent, so that's 20%. And that would be a decrease because it's going down. Okay. All right, so in these problems, we have to solve for various amounts. For number 1, we can multiply 130 by 0.55 to get to our answer of $71.50. For number 2, we have to find the difference in the amounts and divide by the original, and that would be 65%. Number 3, if we're getting a discount of 5%, we're paying 95%. So we have to divide by 0.95. And that would end up being an original price of $72. And for number 4, when we mark up, we add that on to 100%. So we're multiplying by 1.33, and our selling price is going to be $2,128. Okay, and the last section of Chapter 6 was on simple interest, using that formula, interest equals principal times rate times time. So for number 1, we would multiply our principal times 0.03 times 5, and that would give us our interest. For A, our answer is $30, and then for our balance, we have to add on the principal, so 200 plus 30 would be how much money we would now have, which would be $230. And for the next one, same method, 500 times our rate written as a decimal, and the trick is that 6 months is half a year, so we're using 0.5. Again, our interest is $30, and our balance would be now adding 30 on to 500, so we would have $530. Okay, I hope you did well on this video, and I'm going to draw a shape that you would draw on your test to get 2 bonus points. Thanks, and have a good day.